Okay then. Hi everyone. Welcome to the first Chapter Connect meeting of the year. I'm Shivani Hebser and I'm the current president for Kansas HOSA. I'm a current junior at Wichita Collegiate, and this year my projects include working on the Chapter Connect meetings with other officers and the Educational Opportunities Database, as well as continuing the existing HOSA STARS program and the HOSA Helping Hands program. So I'm going to go ahead and let the other state officers introduce themselves.
Hi guys, my name's Amber Patel. I'm your current HOSA Vice President. I graduated from Winfield High School and currently attend KU. My pro my goals for the year are continuing sourcing people for our not conferences, helping out with the HOSA newsletter, seeing a few things on the social media, and also helping to increase our post-secondary collegiate membership.
Hi, everyone. I'm Teresa Cordy. I'm a senior at Blue Valley Southwest High School in Overland Park, Kansas. I am your resource development coordinator, and my main goal for the year is increasing resource accessibility and things like textbooks and event prep materials. I'm really trying to encourage members to compete at SLC without worrying about resources being expensive or hard to find.
Hi everyone, I'm Vidhi Reddy. I also go to Blue Valley Southwest with Teresa. I'm in 11th grade, so a junior, and I'm this year's data coordinator, meaning that any information that you guys want to give to Kansas HOSA or any information that we need, I would try to get that as efficiently and quickly as possible without bothering you too much. So
Before we move on, I'd like to introduce Elena Gold, another one of our state officers, though unfortunately she couldn't be here today with us. She is our chapter development coordinator for this year, and she's a senior at Hugoton High School. Her main focus is chapter establishment, so working to support new chapters, connecting with schools that don't have HOSA yet, and help them get started. So if you're from a new or growing chapter, or you know a school that's ready to bring HOSA, Elena is the person you want to connect to.
And then we also have our last representative, Sua. She's from Northeast Magnet School in Wichita. She is in charge of our social media, so she will connect with everyone, Instagram, Facebook, and also our YouTube channel.
All right, so I'm very excited to introduce one of the best ways to stay informed and connected throughout the HOSA year, which is our Chapter Connect Zoom meetings. So if you're a returning chapter member or brand new to HOSA, this is a space where you can interact with your state officer team, where you can ask questions, hear updates, and stay updated on anything that's happening within Kansas HOSA. So, starting with who can attend. So, we want to make sure that any HOSA member or advisor can attend these meetings. So, if you're a chapter president, just a chapter member, or getting involved, this these Zoom meetings are for all of you. We want to make sure that these opportunities are available to every student and advisor so they are informed and supported. These Chapter Connect Zoom meetings are meant to strengthen the connection between members, advisors, and your state officers, and give space for questions and two-way conversations, provide updates on major HOSA events and deadlines, and introduce any resources and tools to help your chapters grow. And of course, this is also a great chance to network, not just with your state officer team, but with other chapter members across the state. So you'll hear what's working, what's coming up, and how you can make the most out of Kansas HOSA. And of course, we have Zoom meetings throughout the entire year. Of course, we have today on August 26th, which is getting your year rolling with your program of work and recruitment. The next Zoom meeting will be on August 13th, which will provide you on information you need to know about the Fall Leadership Conference. So what's new, what's to expect, and how to get the most from FLC. And then in November on the 4th, Teresa and Vidu will lead a session focused on FLC feedback and how to choose and prepare for your competitive events. On January 20th, Sua will walk you through digital upload information and make sure you know how to upload them and when to upload them as deadlines approach. In February on the 16th, Amber will go into all the details about the state leadership conference from any event updates and any new information. On March 10th, Vidu will go over an SLC feedback session where you can ask questions, give comments about SLC for the upcoming year. And then we wrap up with April 14th, where Elena will guide you guys through ILC details and preparation. And of course, every session is meant for any questions you have on your mind, or if you just want to hear what's happening. So let's stay connected and make sure this is a great Kansas HOSA year.
All right, I'm going to get into some of the nitty gritty now. The main things we're going to go over is some of our core values for the year, and then we're going to go over the schedule, the calendar. Amber is going to be amazing and put that in the chat so everyone can see what document I'm looking at, and it's also the document that's being shared on the screen, so you should be able to follow along with whatever I'm talking about. After the schedule, Vidya is going to go over the activity ideas, so that blue part of the document, and then we're also going to talk about program of work and how to help structure your chapter for the upcoming year. Okay, so starting with our values, as all of you should know, we have our learn, lead, serve, and innovate. This year we're focusing on some pretty specific things because we want to help all of these different values grow. For learning, we want to focus on creating knowledge and skills. So this is things like increasing participation at FLC and SLC, expanding our shadowing database, starting research, career exploration, these chapter connect meetings to help educate students. For leading, we want to make sure we're creating role models and empowering students to be the best leaders they can be. This includes giving them resources through either a calendar like this or a textbook or a website so they can study or educate their chapter about what is happening or healthcare topics. We also want to make sure we're focusing on leadership development. So this comes into play with our chapter leadership conferences and then at certain events at FLC, SLC to make sure that our students are getting the person skills as well as the interpersonal skills as well as healthcare skills in general. Service, we really want to make sure we're creating compassionate and service-driven members. So this happens through programs like Helping Hands, STARS, community service, chapter projects, and officer goals. We really want to encourage our chapters this year to be as involved in the community as possible, whether that's working with younger members, working with collegiate members, or creating community service projects or projects to help communities. And then innovation, we've worked a lot this year on increasing communication through these chapter connect meetings, personal emails, and then also through social media. We're trying to be a lot more present so that we can fix any problems as they arise and really increase that innovation and increase the positive change that's happening. So once again, this happens through our chapter connect meetings. Vidya's been focusing on a lot of data collection to help chapters, especially new chapters, figure out what they need and how Kansas HOSA can help them. Communication, and then the best possible chapter representation that we can give. So if anyone has any concerns or questions, always feel free to reach out to either the state officer team or Tina. We're always happy to help solve any problems or guide you towards a resource or an activity that we think would be great for your chapter. Okay, that was a lot of information. I'm going to go to the schedule. So as you can see here, Amber has this pulled up. She's linked it in the chat. It's called our HOSA yearly overview. So on one side, we've created a list of important dates. So these include our Chapter Connect Zooms, registration deadlines, our conferences, anything that's relevant to both students and advisors. So this is something that your whole chapter can use, and you can make a copy of it to specify it for your specific chapter. On the other side, we have specific activity ideas. So these are things that your chapter can investigate and have a plan for their monthly meeting. Going into specific dates, obviously we have our Chapter Connect Zoom today. August 25th, registration opens for our chapter leadership workshop. This is something we're very excited about this year. So our chapter leadership workshop is, let me pull up my details. Perfect. We're wanting to bring 3 to 4 officers from every chapter in Kansas this year to help focus on continued development of leadership and abilities like that. So we're inviting these students. We're going to do workshops. It's a full day of um, workshops we do. We want to give resources to students and other things like this. So we really encourage you to reach out or to register for this conference because we think it'll be a great opportunity for students to learn and bring stuff back to their chapters. In September, we have our chapter leadership workshop registration closing. Our FLC registration opens, and then we have our chapter leadership workshop on the 15th, and then we'll start our Zoom meetings for FLC registration. Down in October, we have some more Zoom meetings. Registration closes for FLC at October 3rd. So if you're an advisor in the Zoom meeting, make sure you're keeping attention to these like registration openings and deadlines because those sneak up fast. October 6th, registration for our Advisor Management Conference opens. And then we have a couple more Zoom meetings that you can see are linked in there. October 28th, which is pretty close to Halloween, which I'm excited about, is our Fall Leadership Conference in Manhattan, Kansas. We're really excited about this. We're excited to have a lot more members coming this year and to do a lot more educational and instructive work rather than just like kind of throwing people into it. Our main like fall leadership conference goal is to prepare people for SLC. So we're doing some really good initiatives on getting those put together. In November, we have a couple more Zoom meetings. November 3rd through 9th is HOSA Week. So if you have not heard of HOSA Week before, HOSA Week is a week in November that we go all out with activities, community service. We do HOSA awareness, disease awareness. It's like our big week of the year that we really want to get people involved and connect with the community. We have a whole list of ideas on that right side of what HOSA Week might look like. And you can also find things from specific chapters in the Google Drive about what they've done or what is possible to do. There's so many great ideas that we have for HOSA Week and that other chapters have done. And if you need help setting anything up, once again, feel free to reach out. December is when we start our SLC stuff. So registration opens the 1st, and then we have a couple Zooms where you can come in and ask questions. If you're struggling with registration, there will be one of us here to help. December 18th is SLC registration closing. And then December 19th is the deadlines for the chapter member of the year, local chapter advisors, and then scholarship applications. In January, after the new year, we have our online testing window for SLC opening. We have the last day to cancel SLC registration. There's another chapter connect, and then there's some other like deadlines for testing and then nominations. In February, we have digital uploads are due the 1st. And then February 16th is our HOSA Stars points. So these are more like recognition events that are due for like submissions. February 23rd is our event manager training Zoom. So if you have people that are training for SLC or advisors, they should all be coming to this. In March, we have our state leadership conference. So SLC this year is March 2nd and 3rd, and it is in Wichita, Kansas. We have a new location this year because we had so many members, so we had to kind of grow along with Kansas HOSA. So March will be pretty busy as well as the end of February, but we're really excited to ramp up SLC for this year and get some new things going. In April is past SLC, so we're starting with ILC stuff. We'll have Zoom meetings, and then this is the advisor's deadline to notify state advisors, TINA, regarding ILC attendees. And then May, I think, is our last mark on here. We have our ILC registration deadlines and then digital uploads that are due. Let's see. A couple other things to talk about before Vidu talks about our activity ideas. The schedule is like a benchmark for your chapter. So we want you to be coming to these chapter connect meetings, connecting with us as you think is possible, and then really trying to be part of the HOSA community. So we put these dates in here so you know what's happening, and then we can really create that community. Does anyone have any questions about the schedule or anything that they wanted clarified? Okay, Perfect. I'm going to pass it off to Vidu, and he's going to talk about specific activities we have going on this year.
Okay, so first off, thank you. And then second, sorry, this is like a lot of talking and a lot of yap, and it's hard to listen to it, but it's super helpful because it'll start helping you in your chapter to start like structuring everything for the year, and it won't put you under pressure when you're in the moment for it. So starting again, if you want to go to beginning of the document for the activities. Thank you. So we scheduled out the activities into like easy, hard, and medium categories. That kind of correlates to the size of your chapter and how long you have also been a chapter, because we're under the impression that typically longer standing chapters have an easier time with gaining resources and typically have more students. So this will cater to, of course, newer chapters along with longer lasting ones. So the first one, starting with the easy parts, creating a HOSA Instagram page for your school. Easiest thing in the world. Probably just hit like the plus button on Instagram, throw in an email, and boom, you have an Instagram page. Great way to stay connected, great way to understand what's happening within Kansas HOSA, what we want to put out. And then we also started to encourage putting chapter connect meetings on your stories. You could do posts about it. That'd be awesome. We'd really appreciate that. Second, going to forms. So first off, local standards of excellence, great form. And when we're getting into standards of excellence, that's something that we wanted to rep a little bit more. So getting more community awareness for that. And when it comes to forums, I'm your guy. So we want as much data as possible about the newer chapters along with older ones, and just seeing what patterns we can decipher and how we can help you guys out. Third, medium. So this is for, it doesn't really have to be specifically for older chapters, but typically HOSA Stars is something that it's more niche. So chapters that have been part of HOSA for longer will know about it, but definitely work about that. College applications typically like to see like volunteer awards. So this would be great. This would definitely be a part of something that you can add to that when you get involved. So third part is the hard challenge. Develop a program of work for your chapter to work on throughout the school year. Secret, this one not so hard. It's literally just a to-do list for the entire year. The program of work, which I'll get into later, is literally just how you want to structure the HOSA year. It literally has documents and parts of the document that just talk about what do we want each member to be doing, and like the local state or the local chapter board, what we want each of you guys to be like achieving, and what events can we choose from here to apply to our local chapter. So that's definitely a really good way to stay organized throughout the year. Going down to September, I'm assuming my school, Blue Valley Southwest, we do like mental health awareness month, and that's a part where like we have sort of like flex times. I don't know what we call it for other schools, but it's just study hall pretty much. And during the first part, we just go through parts of like mental health awareness. This kind of plays into that a little bit. So it's National Suicide Prevention Month. So if you can work with your school to just be like, hey, we have this club, it's called HOSA, and we just wanted to put sticky notes around the school that just say like a positive thing. I'm assuming there shouldn't be much backlash. I'm hoping there's not going to be much backlash, but it's just a very simple activity that your chapter can work through and get done. Next, coordinating local shadowing opportunities using the Educational Opportunities Database for chapter members. So this is once again playing into Shivani's goal really well. When we get that database working, hopefully it's able to produce amazing results that can work for you and your local chapter. Of course, it may take a little bit of personal legwork within your local chapter officers to reach out, get connected, but it's obviously a great way to also step a little bit outside the comfort zone of being like, okay, now that we're outside of school, how can we collaborate with other organizations? Medium, create an informational bulletin board regarding HOSA for students to see. So since it is the second month that we're going with this calendar, we want to raise as much awareness as we can for HOSA. It's grown a lot. Like I think there's almost 2,000 members, which is insane. But working with local schools to get more involved about not necessarily just joining the club, but understanding what it's truly about is a great goal for us to have. Third is medium, create an informational bullet. Just read that. Sorry. Now we're going down to the hard. Host a club fair promoting school clubs to encourage involvement and to support mental health struggles. Our school also does like an activity fair. That's a great resource we have, but there should be usually for other schools just a time for clubs or organizations to present what they have about their club and like how to join it and what it entails. So getting involved with that, of course, this is a hard activity, so it'll take a little bit more like work to say. And if you guys don't have like a club fair, then it might be a little bit harder to do this. However, there shouldn't be much barrier to just getting out and trying to raise awareness for the club itself. Now, October. Okay, this is FLC month. But so that's also National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And our school, what we're trying to do is we organize pink outs. So for football games, this is also football season. So organizing events for raising awareness, typically schools get behind that pretty quickly because this is obviously a very large month that, especially breast cancer awareness, it's typically a pretty common ideal for most people going throughout schools, educators, and there's a lot of events regarding it. So getting involved and raising awareness typically per month for just something is a good way to get started. Next, Medium hosts a lunch and learn, invite a healthcare professional to speak about their profession during a lunch period. It doesn't have to be during a lunch period. Once again, during our school, we have like study halls, which we have hosted a guest speaker that Teresa organized from Children's Mercy. So that was a great experience because we had a lot of students asking questions afterwards about like, how can I get into med school? What do you think was like the best advice that they had, et cetera, et cetera. That's a really good way to gain exposure and also like reputation within HOSA as like, hey, we're trying to help you and we think you can help us too. Next is planning activity for the HOSA week, November 3rd through 9th. This is just sort of to help you guys plan out how you want the year to go. So asking your members like questions about how they felt about HOSA, and there's also like more fun activities. HOSA members dressing as different diseases or conditions. That'd be hard, dude. If you want to go for it, by all means. But being able to raise awareness about different things every month is once again a great course of action to have. And then there's HOSA appreciation for local frontline workers. So there's a lot of ways you could go about this. You could do gift baskets. You could do, if you are able to like meet a firefighter or like an EMS, maybe pertain to like what they would need. So like, for example, we have a fire station right by our school. So we're assuming that if there were a lot of fires in Kansas, thankfully Overland Park, thankfully they're not, we'd probably like load those guys up with caffeine. So just pertaining to see what those specific professionals would need in that situation. Finally, host an American Red Cross blood drive. I believe Amber, you're a great person to reach out about this. We have not done that for our school, but that's definitely something that you would have to work with the Red Cross organization to organize, and then also perhaps a local hospital.
Before we move on to November, I want to make sure that you're like interested in what we're having to say. So we'll keep running through some of these, but we'll try and make sure we have lots of time for questions at the end. So we'll keep moving.
Okay, and then finally to November. So number one, finding online textbooks and resources needed for the event year you plan to compete in. So Teresa, launch your questions at Teresa. Just be like, hey, I got a question about this resource. Is there anything I can do about it? And I'm having trouble finding resources with this. Fire away. That's why the emails are there. So we're happy to help you guys whenever you need it. Next one, show appreciation to your school nurse with thank you cards, cookies, or small gifts. So I've been to the school nurse a couple of times. I'm a nosebleed demon, but we love her. She's a great person, and I'm hoping that most nurses at most schools are like that. So try to, if you want to build this event a little bit up, you can try to meet with your nurse a couple of times like before this actual event, and then just try to get to know them as a person. Be like, hey, we have this organization. We'd love to have you like speak about it, even if there's like some event or like some crazy thing that's happened at school that you'd like want to share or you think HOSA members would find interesting, go for it. You can organize thank you cards, cookies, small gifts. Those are just a couple of examples. Medium is National Alzheimer's Awareness Month, volunteering at a local nursing home to engage with residents living with Alzheimer's. So this may be a little bit difficult because old age homes, they work a little bit, they're not super strict, just like hospitals, because with hospitals, you need like HIPAA, yada, yada. And they're like, we promise you cannot breathe a word outside about this. But nursing homes are usually pretty relaxed. It will take a little bit of maybe a month ahead preparation. So just reach out a little bit early. You should be like, hey, we would like to, we have this organization and we have willing members who want to volunteer and help out at your nursing home. So just early action with that. That might be why it's a little bit harder, but just acting early on that will make it pretty easy. Finally, HOSA Helping Hands educate elementary students about health topics such as importance of hand washing and then learning more on the HOSA website. So this once again plays into the helping hands as Shivani was talking about. This also requires a little bit of early preparation. Our schools, we have elementary schools that feed into a middle school, eventually feeding into a high school. So just working back along that chain and being like, hey, I used to go to your elementary school. Can I please speak to your, please speak to your students about this? Usually gets a pretty good response because they're like, oh, we've had you before. You go to the school that we're going to eventually feed into. That's pretty cool, but takes early action.
Of course. We also have other things we'd also like to move on to, and you will have access to this document in that can be found in the chat. So you can also go over the rest of the activity ideas and implement them in your program of work. And Teresa will be talking a little bit more about the program of work now.
Okay, so our program of work is also going to be linked in the chat. I'm going to go through it pretty fast because it's pretty self-explanatory. I'll give you all a minute to open it and for Amber to put it in the chat.
Give me a second. Go ahead and keep talking.
Okay, perfect. So our program of work is basically a document that we have that is a template for everyone to structure their chapter. So it's a calendar similar to the one that we put together for you, but you can include your chapter advisor, their responsibilities. Below that, we have a list, like an area for your chapter officers and their responsibilities. Below that, we've listed our core values. We've listed some activities for you. And then we have the scheduling set up just like the boxes here. Yes, perfect. It's in the chat. Okay. Love it. Yes. So we have those boxes listing our August, September, October, where you can put the date, the activity, and then action steps. And it acts as like a really good to-do list and also calendar for your chapter. We're giving this as just a template, so obviously you can alter it, use it to your needs, but we're hoping this will help some chapters get more organized throughout the year. All right, and then let's see. I think next we're going to pass it back off to Shivani, and she's going to talk a little bit more.
All right, guys. I want to start by thanking you guys for joining us today, getting to know what Chapter Connect is about and learning a little bit more about some resources that you guys have. Now we will go into the drawing. We are offering a drawing for swag at the end of every Chapter Connect meeting, and every person who attends gets their name on the little spinning wheel for a prize of HOSA swag at the end. I think Amber will be adding your names to the spinning wheel now.
Okay, are we ready? Should we just do it? Okay, can we all see?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, Madeline.
So
Okay,
Madeline,
that's so cool.
Madeline,
get
we'll
some
have to get your
swag.
chapter so we can send you swag.
Okay, my chapter is Eisenhower High School in Goddard, Kansas.
Okay.
Is that all you needed?
Yep, officer, somebody write that down and I will get that shipped out.
I
Okay,
got
thank you.
Yeah. Shivani or Amber, is somebody going to mention the big drawing at the end?
We were getting to it. Okay.
Sorry.
But yes, we'll also be keeping track of everyone who joins a chapter connect ever, like throughout our few months. So just because you didn't win a prize today doesn't mean you can't win one in the future. We'll have a drawing for a pair of AirPods later on, right before SLC. So I'm gonna hand it back to Shivani and we'll open up the floor for some questions in a bit.
Yes, just like Amber said, we are opening up for any for a question and answer session with all of you guys. If you have any questions about resources for chapter members, if you want to email us directly, our emails are in the chat. If you have state candidate questions, this is your chance to ask us now. And if not, you are free to leave. We will be putting a feedback form in the chat, as we'd love your feedback for this meeting and how we can improve them for the next time.
I have a question.
The floor is all yours.
Okay, thanks. A couple of things. We just wrote down the chapter, the Connect, chapter Connect. So, are those all going to be at 6 p.m.?
Yes, as far as we have decided now, they will be at 6 p.m.
Okay, and then, just clarification, like we were planning here with our team, and we may do, just because students are busy, we may do chapter meetings around this, like we have you on the big screen here. So if we do that, is there a way to get you the names of the people that are in the room so they can, like, I don't need to be on there, but people that attended the meeting, is there, I
Yeah,
want to make sure.
if you would like just go, because I saw you had multiple people, so I just put your name in there. But yeah, if you want to like next time just type their names in the chat, that would be a great way. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I will do that because I was thinking as we plan our year that we'll plan that some of our chapter meetings be around your connects, and then that way we can for sure make sure to be there. So, and then do this kind of format so we're all here. So we just used my computer, but good job, guys.
Thank you.
All right, we'll stay on for a couple more minutes if anyone else has questions. And also, as always, feel free to email any of us through our HOSA email, or if you need to contact us through our state advisor or Mrs. Harris, always feel free. So I hope you all have a wonderful rest of August and that everyone's school started off well.
Yay, good job.
Make sure you're following us on all of our socials. I know I dropped our YouTube in the chat. We need some more subscribers, so like and subscribe.
Okay, I have a question about the emails. Are the emails also on the HOSA website?
They should be, but if not, we can definitely get those added.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. That's all I needed.
I'm not sure they are, but we'll make sure that happens.
Okay, perfect.
Any other questions, comments, concerns, hopes, fears, dreams before we end?
All right, then, seeing as there are no questions, comments, or concerns, thank you all for attending today. We really appreciate the support and have a great rest of your evening.